Hello, it's Jennifer Savari, and today I'll be making a little window card. And I used a Birchpress Design paperclip with the wooden bird on it from Meri Meri, and thought that that would be a cute embellishment as well as a gift for the recipient. The trees are actually stamped and embossed on the inside of the card, showing through the window, and FineTec gold makes a nice layer to write on. The pattern paper I'm going to be using today is actually a cotton paper. It's made from recycled t-shirts. So it's Shizen Designs paper, also available at Birchpress, and a new product to Birchpress. And this is the purple folia, and you can see that there are other colors available in this particular pattern as well. I'll be using the Central Park stamp, and it matches the paper perfectly. I'm so excited. In addition, I'll be using the FineTec gold, and I'm going to be using a couple different shades of the gold to create an interior portion to write on. I'm using a metallic dark gray cardstock that is 11 inches by 4.25, and a panel of the patterned paper is going to be centered on top of that. It's 3 5/8 inches. Now, because this is technically a stripe, even though it's kind of a floral leafy pattern, I wanted to make sure that everything was centered pattern-wise as well. So to do this, I marked off on my ruler 3 5/8 inches and then placed it where I wanted that to be and marked it on the paper. These will be my cut lines when I go to cut it. The paper cuts very easily in a paper trimmer, but I wanted to make sure I had a very sharp blade because there is a little bit of fraying and I wanted to eliminate as much as possible. So I'm using my Fiskars Sure-Cut, and there's a little notch in the top that is just easy to replace a blade if you've never done that. Just a little warning though, once you start replacing your blades and start realizing the difference it makes, you'll be replacing them quite a bit. I love having those sharp blades because it really does make a difference on any kind of paper. The other thing I love about that Sure-Cut trimmer is the little wire guide, and so it just makes it easy to go ahead and cut where I had placed little pencil marks. And notice how on this paper I'm doing 2 passes with that blade, and there's still a little bit of fraying, but I've got a solution for that. I'll show you here in just a second. I went ahead and cut that 3 5/8 by 5 1/2 to fit over that top panel. To help hide the frays, I just put a little bit of glue on my fingertips and went around the edge, and that actually cleans up the edge perfectly, and because this glue does dry clear, there's really not enough to see. I used my tape runner to apply adhesive to the back, and I used quite a bit here because I wanted an extra good adhesion. And then see how I line up the very top and then just kind of let that fall with that adhesive. You'll see here right there, and then just follow it down. And then I was able to just cut off the excess. Once that was adhered, I went ahead and set up my die cutter and gently placed the circle die over top of both layers. It won't have any problem cutting through both of these layers. Notice I'm not using repositional tape to hold down that die at all. The first time I did, it did remove some of the color from the pattern on the top. It's not, I can't call it fragile paper, but it's just fragile enough that that removable adhesive with the pressure of the die cutter, it just didn't work. So I was just careful. So then I went ahead with my anti-static tool and with Versamark ink stamped that gorgeous Central Park stamp. I love this stamp with platinum, and I'm using the Hero Arts Platinum. And because this metallic paper is fragile, I would just emboss a little bit, let it cool, and then emboss some more. I just took my time embossing to eliminate as much warping as possible. And then when I was done, I just you can see here, I kind of had to bend it back a little bit, put it under some weight, and then I just removed the anti-static. And what a gorgeous detail this stamp has. I just loved how it matched that pattern paper. I'm using the double-stitched circle frames from Poppy Stamps to create a frame for the inside and outside of that window. And you can see me just using that interior and the stitched edges to line everything up. And then I did the same thing with the interior. Because I'm using a little bit darker cardstock than what I'm normally used to using, I wanted to create a lighter space for writing. And so I used the FineTec Gold to do that, and I just started brushing it on. I could have blended the entire bottom portion into one big piece of gold, but I wanted to keep those brush strokes just because I thought that was a cool look. And then once that had a little chance to dry, I went over top with one shade lighter of the gold, and it just created a really nice dimension in that. It's just, I love these FineTec golds. They're just beautiful. So once again, the top of that hill does show through the window, and it also provides a grounding for those trees, which I really liked. And then to add just a little bit of color to that background, I did some sequins, some little light purple sequins to match the front. And I like how those sequins carry through the purple color even when the card is opened. Next, I chose a little Meri Meri bird, and I thought that this would not only be a cute embellishment, but also something that the recipient could keep and use as either a bookmark or, you know, just a fancy paper clip. It's a cute little gift and a perfect embellishment for this card. So anyway, to go ahead and write over top, I used a black gel pen. It depends on which pens are used, but I found the gel pen worked really well. You just have to make sure and let it dry before closing the card. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll see you again soon. Have a great day.